Okay. So the last time we played, you guys came back to Saltmarsh after finishing up at the Lizard Folk settlement, and you turned in your quest to the council, and the two Lizard Folk ambassadors, Garut and Vith, began speaking with the council in terms of solidifying the alliance that you guys had tentatively plotted out with the Lizard Folk. After that, you guys spent a week doing various things around Saltmarsh, getting some much-needed downtime, before then deciding to trek out to Seaton in order to get closer to the Drowned Forest, where you're looking to find a captured druid named Hotch that has been captured and ransomed by a group of bandits that Saltmarsh Town Council doesn't seem that interested in helping. On the way there, on a 2-day journey, your boat was ambushed in the middle of the night by a band of Sahagwin, which were handily defeated by the Slumbermancer and his crew. And that basically brings us to now. The rest of the night goes by without any issue. And for the next day, you continue your journey to Seaton. Is there anything that you guys want to do while you're on the boat?
I don't think I have anything I'm specifically going to be doing.
Do I have to attune to anything? 1 second here. I don't think I do. Are we hurt at all? Can we say that we've rested on this boat ride?
Absolutely, yep. You as the night passes, you guys return to your long rest, and so for this day, you're fully healed and all your resources available to you.
My friends, I noticed Kelnozz had a little too much to drink last night.
As usual.
And
I'm glad you were able to show some restraint.
Oh, I
time,
can handle my rum and spirits. We should continue on our journey. It is 2 days.
To Seaton.
To Seaton.
The fortress city.
As you guys are sailing, Salty Eye Jockwaters is going to try and find Eikooc. Where are you, Eikooc? When Salty Eye Jockwaters finds you.
Hanging out on the bridge.
Salty Eye comes up and says, "Sir, I have a report. I thought it'd be worth noting that our supplies are getting somewhat low. It seems that whoever the first mate did not order any supplies before we left. With all due respect, I think that we should make sure we have enough food and water, and perhaps, with your permission, maybe some brandy or ale as well when we reach Seaton."
Yes, let's pick up everything we need in Seaton. That seems reasonable.
Mm-hmm.
I'll leave it to you then.
Oh, well. This would traditionally fall under the duties of the first mate.
Yes, well, we both know how that's going to go.
Well, I will try my best. It's a bit outside of my expertise.
Couldn't help but hear that your first mate's sleeping on the job again.
Yes, I'm considering throwing him in the brig for a short period.
Oh, he's already there.
Do we have a brig?
There is
I'd say down in the bilges.
no purpose-built brig, but there is that spot.
Can we spend a week
That,
purpose building a brig?
You can do whatever you want.
Surely the carpenters of Seaton, a fortress city, would know about building a brig.
But we do have that dungeon we found that elf in. We can use that. We can lock up Kelnozz in there. It's the brig / drunk tank. Let him sleep that off in there. Looks like he's collapsed in your cabin there. Yuck.
In my cabinet.
Yeah, seems like it.
Alright, I'll have to deal with that.
Did he fall asleep in your bed again?
He's always up to something.
Gotta get your first mateship somehow.
Ooh. Okay. Well, if there's nothing else, if you guys want to continue to Seaton, then the captain here can make a survival check.
Survival. Sure you don't want perception? Because I could percept the hell out of this.
Persuasion?
Percept or
I
investigation.
persuade the weather to hold off
Yeah.
while I ride through this hurricane.
Not great at surviving.
The fog that had plagued your journey through most of yesterday has returned in the morning and manages to make it quite difficult for you to sail at any real speed without worrying about colliding with other boats, parts of the land where there might be rocks or other islands. So it takes you a bit longer, but as you approach the end of the day, maybe about an hour or two before sunset, you get within sight of Seaton. When you see Seaton in the distance, primarily all you can see are these large stone walls that extend into the water for some ways before opening into a causeway into a fortified bay. And as you get a little bit closer, you can see that, unlike Seamar, you can see that although it has some arbitrary similarities to Saltmarsh, most of the buildings look like they're made of similar construction. You do notice that whereas Saltmarsh had a lot of tin roofs and other kind of accessories, that from the distance you can see most of the buildings that have metal roofs in Seaton are made from bronze. And it's much larger. It looks like it's roughly about double the size of Saltmarsh. And as you get closer, you see a small boat is dispatched and seems to be heading your way.
We have nothing to hide.
Half says, "Shift toe! Orders, Captain!"
Sorry, Victoria just called me. 1 second.
Brynn and Theren, what are you guys doing as the small ship approaches?
The ship is evidently coming from Seaton, right?
Mm-hmm.
From which side of the ship? I'll just go there to
I
watch it.
I start to help prepare like some sort of like whatever rope ladder we have for customs patrol boats and whatnot. Prepare the ladder for throwing overboard once
Whoa.
we've spoken with them.
Hold on, Brynn. Let's see how many people there are there. I'll try and see. Or do they look like guards, or do they look at like?
Make a perception check.
All right.
You can see that there are two figures on the boat that's approaching you, but you can't make out any noticeable details about them.
I only see 2 in that small ship. We'll handle them easily if they're brigands.
We
Go ahead and bring.
30.
Yeah.
So I'll be standing next to. They're holding on to the rope bridge, but ready to like.
Right, sorry, I'm back.
As the small keelboat approaches your boat, one of the figures stands up, and you can see that they're both 2 humans wearing leather armor. They both have a thunder emblem on their shoulder, and you notice now that the ship is carrying the same emblem as their flag. Everyone can make an insight check.
Yeah, it's a light show out there.
Oh, really, eh?
Yeah, it's going
Nice.
crazy. I haven't heard anything, though. It's like all just... Oh, as I say that, I hear the first one.
Okay. Well, Eikooc, you determine that this is most likely the emblem of Seaton itself, and that these are essentially town guard. And as they get close, one of them stands up and says, "Ahoy there! Permission to come aboard and inspect."
Of course, granted. We come in peace. As soon as they got on board, the ship says, "Ahoy there!"
Just the
Sorry.
one comes aboard.
My power flashed there in the middle of me getting ready. Let me just quickly run around the house to make sure that there's no windows open because it is pouring rain right now.
Oh, wow, weird.
Oh shit.
There's no rain here.
The town guard looks around. What is the purpose of this vessel? You can see he's a little nervous as he sees who is on this boat.
We are just adventurers. We are currently on a mission from Saltmarsh to rescue a druid that has been kidnapped in the Drowned Forest.
Drowned Forest, dangerous place.
Indeed. We were going to request docking at Seaton to make our way to the Drowned Forest, of course.
His eyes scan the boat and says, "Who else is among your crew?"
We have 2 in
Is
their
everyone here?
quarters. 2 in the quarters. The crew is scattered, I guess. I don't know, the other people that we don't see amongst the decks. I can have everyone report on deck if you need.
We'll need a roster of the entire crew, including everything that you're carrying on the boat.
Okay, well, that would be the job of my first officer. He's quite incompetent, so I will pass that job off to Theren. Since you're the
Very
only
well.
one here.
Watch out, boards. It's about to start pouring rain wherever you are, if it hasn't already.
The guard nods and says, "Very well. Now, I have to warn you that Seaton is not a very friendly place for your kind." And as he says this, he kind of gestures towards Brynn and Theren and says, It's imperative that when you dock in Seaton, that none of you leave your ship until Yarlan has had a chance to come and speak to you. He's the wharf master.
Yarlan.
Yarlan Harker.
Yarlan Harker.
Will he come to us after we've docked?
Yes, I will be letting him know immediately as soon as we leave here that of your boat, and given your crew and your own ethnicity, that he will surely need to come speak to you.
That would be fine.
If you mean no trouble in Seaton, then I would be wise to cooperate with him.
That will be no problem whatsoever.
Very well. Follow us into the docks. He jumps back into his boat, and a moment later, the small keelboat turns and starts sailing back towards Seaton.
I turn to the other two and I say, it's a good thing Kelnozz was passed out or we'd be at war right now. Alright, let's follow him in.
Okay. It only takes a few moments for the Sea Ghost to pull into the Seaton docks. And you notice that the docks themselves are busy, and in fact busier than Saltmarsh, just due to the volume of people, but that there's a much more order to it, and a heavier guard presence on the docks themselves. You pull up, a couple sailors come by and grab your ropes as you throw them down and start tying them to the docks. Half lowers the anchor. What do you guys do?
I am busily scribbling down a crew roster and making a note of our dwindling supplies as well. That we can request more.
Geez, Theren, you're gunning to be the XO here. Too bad. Too bad Brynn was closing all his windows right at the wrong time.
Hey, I came back. I've been here for a minute.
Zoran,
It was already soaking all over the sink. Luckily, it's just the sink, but
Zoran comes out of his room and says, well, that was quite a peaceful journey. We're finally here.
Zoran, where were you?
What do you mean?
There was a great battle on the deck.
Is that what all that noise was? Well, how come no one came and woke me?
You heard the noise. You were obviously awake.
Oh, I thought it was just the crew having a bit of a lark.
Well, are you in for a lark? We haven't seen you in 2 days.
Well, I was resting. Was there any gold from this attack? I'm still owed my cut, you know.
Well, not if you don't participate, you're not.
They were sea creatures. They had no earthly goods for us. We nearly died.
Oh, well, if they had no goods, then no loss. All right, so what's the plan?
We're going to wait on the boat until Yarlan Harper, the wharf master of Seaton, comes to greet us. Then we'll make for the forest.
Wait for the wharf master. This is why I never come to this place. It's too full of stuffy rules. After a few moments, Eikooc, you notice that there is a woman walking towards the boat, and behind her is a contingent of 6 men who are all wearing an assortment of mostly medium and heavy armor, but they are all adorned in copper and wearing the symbol of Cormac Fairhand. And as she approaches, she says, I'm here to speak to Captain Eikooc.
That is I.
We're coming aboard.
All right, you may come aboard. Ahoy there! Ahoy there! Ahoy there! How many? 7 people total?
Yeah.
It says it 7 times.
Say it 7 times.
Ahoy there!
You unlock this secret.
Ahoy there! Ahoy there! That was 7.
2 of the Fairhands, without saying anything, immediately go towards these stairs, heading towards the deck, or the hold rather. And the other starts spreading out around the boat. And
Do they look like they're looking for anything in particular?
it looks like they're looking for something, or they're looking around, but they haven't told you or haven't said that they're looking for something. The woman approaches Eikooc and says,
I'm gonna follow the guys into the hold.
As you move to the door, the woman who is about to speak to Eikooc says, "Stay right there, elf! I want you or I can see you."
We mean no harm. What is the meaning of this?
My name is Jano Marshwalker, Lieutenant Commander of the Fairhands of Seaton. You and your crew are coming with us. And after a moment, the Fairhands that went into other parts of the deck come out carrying a groggy and barely recovered Kelnozz, and says, "I found another elf. This one is pitch black skin like the night." The woman says,
If you ask me, it kind of has a green tinge to it. 2 days of vomiting will do that to you.
she says, "We expect you to come peacefully."
Well, we don't take well to threats. What is the meaning of this? We are waiting for Yarlan Harper. I probably should identified you before I allowed you on the boat.
Yarlan Harker is not coming, and he is sent for me. Now, I am not concerned with what you take well with, and if you wish to see a true threat, please do not cooperate. But if you are truly here to not cause trouble, you'll come here and answer to us.
What are we answering to? What are our supposed crimes?
We will discuss that when we get to the God House. Zoran says,
No.
"What? I didn't do nothing wrong! God House!" He starts struggling, and one of the Fairhands grapples him and starts restraining him, twists his arm behind his back. This is your last chance.
To them.
I don't like how this is looking, Yuck.
Theren, what do you do?
I tell him we're on official business.
Who are you
I
telling this
suppose
to?
we should go with them.
Okay.
Just to the group in general. We have nothing to fear. We have nothing to hide. We're here on official business from Salt Marsh.
Janelle turns to you as you say that, and she says, "A half-elf Fairhand. I've seen stranger things. Who's your commander, elf?"
We're here at the request of Iliander. Iliander Fireborn. He sent us to find a missing friend of his. And so he set sail not 2 days ago from Salt Marsh.
I know who Iliander Fireborn is. He is no fair hand. I asked who your commander was.
Oh, well then. Old Jangle McBoken. That was his name.
Make a deception check with disadvantage.
Disadvantage. What did I say it was? Jangle
Old Jangle McBoken.
McBoken. There we go. Let's see.
Double critical.
Let's go.
22, very good. You guys, oh no, you guys can see that, right? That
21.
roll? There you go. Okay. She goes, Jangle McBoken. Strange name. One I've never heard. But very well. She turns to Eikooc and says, "This is your last chance to prove that you're here for no good. Tell your crew to come with us now, or this will be your last day in Seaton."
We don't want trouble, so we will come with you. But this had better be an honorable journey.
She says, "That was wise. Now, your crew, these sailors and humans, they can stay here. We will leave a contingent of Fairhands here to overwatch them and comb through your boat to make sure it matches the itinerary that you've given us.
We also require goods to resupply our ship.
And services.
You're getting far ahead of yourself. Now, the three elves, yourself, and that man in black, present your hands and drop your weapons. You will be manacled for until we get to the god house.
Oh, this wasn't part of the deal.
We're being taken to the god house in shackles?
We've done nothing wrong.
That remains to be seen.
No, that is the truth. And we will gladly pack up our ship and sail away from here if this is the treatment of your city.
I haven't given you leave to leave the city.
We give ourselves leave.
We haven't even entered the city! I shout from the background.
This is our ship, and we may go as we please. You are standing on our home. We are not on yours.
Just 1 second. Okay, all of them start drawing their swords. And Jonal says, "Fairhands, I believe that we have fallen leaves on our hands." Roll initiative.
Mm. How many of them is there?
7.
7.
6 dudes in the
Right,
Special
like character sheet 2.
And they're huge.
Yeah. Okay, just give me 1 second to get set up here. Alright, take a moment to confirm where your character is going to be during this. Everyone was brought to the main deck. Make sure you're in a square. These are just going to be quick tokens. Scallywags.
These certainly don't look like friendly guards.
Okay. Thanks for that moment there. Some initiative scores. Okay.
I guess Kelnozz isn't in the fight, eh?
Yeah, I guess we will say he is. Just make sure someone can operate him there.
I think I've got his sheet on mine.
Yeah, you do. So if you don't mind, Kev, you can control
Okay.
him.
I don't know all his tricks, but I sure can figure them out. Let's see.
And just one last roll for Theren. All right, Brynn, go ahead. You're starting us off.
Interesting predicament we have here. What are our thoughts? Can we realistically take these guards?
These are not
Oh, wow.
guards. Just to let you know, these are Fairhands. They are like Fairhands are the sect of the Church of the Great Binding that worship the God of Justice, the same one that Theren pretends to be. So they are essentially most of them are in splint mail, adorned with copper, all carrying long swords. They're like paladins and clerics, essentially.
Okay.
Dragoons and clerics.
Okay. I probably can't see the leader.
The leader here is, he's up there talking with Eikooc. He's probably got a couple with him just to be.
Just to gang rape everyone.
Well,
here,
gotta protect the leader.
I guess. I'm not super excited about standing next to this one guy. And I'm not sure what to do about it.
You have the choice of attacking, or talking, or running, or maybe something I haven't thought of.
Can I try disengaging and starting to run up to the crow's nest?
Certainly, yeah.
Climb up there?
Yeah, just remember that climbing is half speed,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a 40-foot crow's nest.
So 2 full turns to get up there.
Okay.
Oh god. We need your damage.
Well, I can't do much damage because I'm already in base to base with this guy. So I'd have disadvantage on my bow, right?
Yeah.
Would it invoke an attack of opportunity?
No.
Okay. I will bow him then. Longbow in the face, and my advantage because he hasn't taken a swing yet will be counteracted by the disadvantage, and it'll just be a regular attack. Right?
Yes.
There we go. 25.
25 hits.
For 11 plus 2, 13 piercing damage.
The arrow, you just pull your bow up in a split second and fire the arrow off. It manages to find a space between the splints and wedges itself in the veteran in the Fairhands chest. But he quickly grabs the arrow and snaps it off and seems barely disturbed.
I'll use my Hunter Conclave ability to fire one at the guy to his left.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
18.
An 18 also hits.
For 14 piercing damage.
Ooh. So this was actually a one quick moment. Bow comes up, arrow, move over, arrow to the next one. Both are caught by surprise, and the arrows find home. And though they grunt with pain as the arrows hit, neither of them look like they're more hurt than they are angry.
And is disengaging an action or a bonus action?
It's an action for everyone but a rogue.
Well. Back off, you! And you!
All right,
that's
on Zoran's
I
turn.
guess I'll add Kelnozz.
Oh, yes. Let's make him do a roll. It would have to be higher than everybody else's rolled so far. Okay, well, let's just let him go now, and then we'll go on to Zoran.
Okay. He's going to do Bardic Inspiration on Theren.
Okay.
And then he is going to pull out his instrument. And he's going to cast Suggestion on the leader. So it's a wisdom
It's a
saving
little
throw.
iffy on whether he can see this guy, but we'll allow it. Okay. Wisdom saving throw.
15.
Okay, what's the suggestion?
Order your men off the boat.
Just reading the rules here. I'm trying to decide if it's reasonable. That's a very loaded word in this case.
I know. I thought the same thing. Not stab yourself.
Yeah. I'm gonna say that the leader is pausing as she struggles with this. So the next physical attack against her will have advantage, but it's not a super reasonable request for her. So though she is compelled, she is visibly fighting the urge to give the order. She is also a fairly high level leader of the Fairhands, and she's under the mistaken identity for you guys that you guys are a very serious threat. So she is not going to do it. But I'll give advantage to the next person, just to make up for the fact that she did fail the
I almost had him, guys.
Hopefully that seems fair to you guys.
I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
We'll
Okay.
allow it.
So if Kelnozz is done, then we will go to Zoran, who's still being restrained by the fair hand next to him. He's going to make a strength check to try and get out of this. That's pretty convenient. So nice. He struggles, but he can't get free of the fair hand's grasp. So, on Janal's turn, she is going to... unlike the rest of them who has swords, Janal carries a spear and a shield that is adorned with the symbol of Cormac Fairhand, which is itself a copper shield. And she's going to start by shield bashing you, Eikooc. What's your AC?
14.
Okay, you take 9 bludgeoning damage, and make a saving throw, please. A strength saving throw.
Oh, sorry. Strength saving throw.
Okay, you are knocked prone.
Ooh.
There we go. You said 9 damage?
Mm-hmm. She is going to make another attack on you with her spear. This is going to be with advantage, since you're prone. Take 11 piercing damage.
I'm unconscious.
And she yells out, "Your captain is down! Stand, throw down your weapons, and prepare to be manacled." Theren, it's your turn. Please unmute yourself.
Oh, seriously?
Yes.
All right. I reluctantly drop my sword and put my hands up.
But you have bardic inspiration.
I think I'm gonna be needing to be a lot more inspired than that.
Okay. Eikooc can make a death saving throw.
I actually hit 0 right on the dot.
Oh, you're still technically dying.
I wasn't sure if that meant I was just like...
Yeah.
Okay.
There is actually no negative hit points in this game. Like, you don't go
Nice.
into negatives. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Okay, one fail. Okay, Kelnozz's turn.
Kelnozz is going to keep fighting. Because he's Kelnozz.
Sounds right. Sounds right.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's not going to... So, in response, this is very apropos, he is going to start a string of vicious mockery, the likes of which this woman has never heard, at the woman. Wisdom save. Ha!
Ooh.
4 psychic.
Okay, so she takes the 4 psychic damage. Barely register any pain on her face, but
Oh. But in her heart?
in her heart she's shooken, and the next attack is going to be at advantage at her. Brynn, if anyone attacks her. Brynn, you're up.
Ooh. So Eikooc is prone and dead. No one else is injured though.
Zoran is restrained. Theren is thrown down his weapon. And Kelnozz is fighting. He's got some salty words for these fair hands.
Now, I don't want to screw us here, but I don't think you took a turn with all of these.
I certainly didn't, and I will be remembering that more thoroughly in this round.
I wasn't sure if that was purposeful.
I forgot that they weren't on their own initiative order, to be honest, but it's alright.
Just keep going anyway.
Just keep going, yeah. They,
Alright.
they gave you guys a chance to throw down your weapons when Janelle told you to. That's what they did on their turn.
I'm really not sure what to do here. This doesn't seem like a fight we're gonna win, though.
There's no right answer.
Yeah. Hmm. The northeast. Okay. I guess I'll continue my flurry of blows. Do I want disadvantage though? Not really. So I'll throw down my bow and try and jab at the closest guy with my short sword. 18.
Jesus, 18 hits.
5. 6, 7 damage.
Your sword manages to get a shallow scrape on the fair hand that is fighting against you. He still looks very healthy.
It's level 10 paladin.
Whoops, I didn't mean to do that. I think that's it. I don't really have any bonus actions or anything that I can play right now, so just a little scrape.
Okay. Zoran seems to stop struggling. He says, "Alright, Uncle, I'll come with you. Just don't break me favorite arm." Janelle steps around the Halgud body, starts walking down. Very wise. The rest of you should do the same, you 2 elves. And we're gonna have those 2 fair hands that Brynn has been damaging raise their long swords and begin to attack. Okay, what's your AC, Brynn?
16.
Okay. Two misses from the first one. The one on the left does the same. Oh my gosh.
Critical fail.
You manage to parry all of these swords as they come in at you with death speed. One here is holding Zoran. This one is going to come down here and applies manacles to Theren. Are you going to resist at all, Theren?
I'm gonna ask him, please, I'm unarmed, but let me help our captain. He's in mortal danger. I can stabilize him.
He says, "You're not going anywhere." And clicks the manacles around your hands. This one is going to jump down. Actually, it's just going to walk down. And comes here. And seeing that Brynn is fending off two Fairhands, he joins the fight to even the odds. Oh.
Ah! What a stab.
Okay, you take 13 slashing damage from him.
Jesus.
And he misses the second one. And have any of them not gone? Janelle has not gone yet. She is going to cast Hold Person on Kelnozz. Kelnozz is going to have to do a Wisdom saving throw. Okay, as he is starting to pull out his rapier and do battle, his body becomes rigid and frozen, and he topples over, stuck in his pose. Okay. Now it's Theren's turn. You are shackled. You're in manacles. Do you do anything?
I guess not. I'm not gonna resist at this point. I just say to them, please help the captain. His blood should not be spilled for unjust reasons. Cornac would not approve of this.
Your words seem to go on deaf ears. You can make a death saving throw. Okay, one success. Kelnozz is frozen, but he can do a Wisdom saving throw to break it. He does not. Brynn, you are the only one fighting now. What are you doing?
So I'm gonna try something acrobatic here and disengage and try and do a flip to get onto the upper deck here where Eikooc is wounded.
Let me look up the jump rules. It's quite the feat.
Well, I imagine I'm like cutting a rope and like flying up the mainsail mast.
If you'd like to do all that, it's going to take an action.
Oh yes,
but you can't disengage and action.
Oh, you
disengage.
Can't, like, bonus action jump?
No, well, if you want to jump, if you want to do a flip, I'll let you do it as a bonus action. But if you want to cut a rope and swing and end up like 5 feet behind you, that's quite the feat of dexterity, so it's going to take more than an
I'm a
action.
dexterous character.
I'm saying you
Okay.
can do it. You just need to use an action.
But then how do I? Oh, it
It's
just
gonna
evokes an
evoke an attack of opportunity. Yeah.
All right, I do the backflip motion instead.
Okay, so now I'll continue looking up the jump rules. I'm just trying to see what the rules are for how high you can jump, because you're kind of talking about jumping like 7 or 8 feet in the air
I'm a light
into a
elf.
I'll be right
backflip.
back.
I'm just, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. It's possible. Okay, high jump. You leap into the air, number of feet equal to 3 plus your strength modifier. What's your
3
strength?
plus strength modifier.
What's your strength modifier?
Oh, it's only 1.
Okay, 4 feet. You cannot realistically do a backflip and land up on the poop deck behind you. So you'll have to think of something else to do, because if it's impossible, you can't even do a roll for it.
I can't disengage and climb up the wall.
Oh yeah, you could disengage and climb up the wall. Yeah, you could.
Okay, that's what I'll do then.
Okay.
Way of getting to Eikooc.
Okay, you manage to scamper up the walls. Thankfully, it's not a very long climb, so a few well-placed footholds, and you manage to leap up over the rails before any of the fair hands can grab you or slice you with their sword. Go ahead and move yourself. Remember, the deck is probably about 8 feet, including the railing, so it takes 16 feet of movement. You're probably fine.
Yeah, I'm not going far. I'm just like getting to Eikoo's side. Stabilizing him, that's probably an action, not like a bonus action.
It is a medicine check, which would be an action, yeah.
Medicine check, okay.
Okay. Zoran has given up.
Stop the madness!
Janelle, seeing you flip over here, starts walking over. She says, "Indeed, you're the only one here who can stop the madness, elf. Do you submit, or do we spill more elf blood on your boat?"
You must let me help the captain first. And I throw my weapons to the side. Like, toss them over here. All my daggers and knives and bows and stuff.
Janelle waves a hand, and as she does, her hand glows with copper light, and cracks of lightning, small cracks of lightning, seem to dance across her fingers. And you see Eikoo's body suddenly, the copper lightning is suddenly, very briefly encased in the copper lightning, and his breathing, which was ragged, becomes much smoother, and says, "Your captain is in no danger. Now submit." And 2 fair hands come up with manacles. Do you resist?
No.
No. Okay. The fair hands also put manacles on Eikooc and start dragging you guys through the docks a short ways to a somewhat small but very sturdy and stout stone building that has a bronze roof and some bronze covering on it. And when you get inside, you see that it is a small jailhouse, or that is sometimes used for guards when they're sleeping between duties. And you are each thrown into a different cell after being relieved of all of your items except for your most basic clothing. 4 hours later, Eikooc awakes. You have... Oops. Well, that was far too many. It's supposed to be +1. So you have 6 hit points as you wake up.
Where are we? What happened? Are these solid doors?
These are... You're essentially in jail cells.
Okay.
And the doors are actually just steel bars.
I look out the bars and... What happened? Did we win?
We most certainly did not. That was an awful show. We were taken in from our own home and given no reason and thrown in jail immediately in a city we've never been to. Most unsuitable conditions these are. Look how many cobwebs are around you. I at least cleaned up my cobwebs.
Yes.
So you guys recall it was just a few hours before night when you arrived at Seaton. Now that about 4 hours has passed, it's the middle of the night. And though you can hear someone down the hall, Kelnozz can see them. No one comes and speaks to you all night, nor do they bring you food and water. But in the morning, a Fairhand guard walks and provides a cup of grayish water and some stale bread, but offers no words. Returns to his post.
When he hands it, I say, justice. Justice indeed. These gods of justice, I just have a problem with them, I think.
I don't remember your original beef with Tyr, but
I don't know. Whatever it was warranted.
okay. Their hours start going by. Nothing. The day, through the small windows that you can see in the building, you can see that it appears sunset has arrived. And again, the man walks by with a cup of water and some bread.
I have my hit points back.
Yep. You guys can all take a long rest, essentially, and become fully hit points. Now, just worth noting, Eikooc, you do not have your spellbook with you.
Yeah, I figured.
So you have cantrips, basically, now.
Okay.
And everything else you have not memorized. Do you guys want to do anything, or are you going to continue to wait?
Does it look like there's any way to get out of these? Or I guess out of this cell that I'm in?
Make an investigation check.
That's the gate. 9.
You can see that this guardhouse is well maintained, very sturdy, and that You think, well, the only way out is the door, and it's possible that someone could break through this door, but it would take strength beyond what most men have at their disposal.
These cells seem most impenetrable. Prison this is. Who would choose to take a nap in here on their break? And that's all.
I have to assume Kelnozz isn't being quiet unless he has another thing.
He's like separated. He's at the other end of the thing down here.
Can we hear him just like badmouthing the guard down the hall?
You hear him in the second day just begin endlessly negotiating with the guard who doesn't respond to him at all. But Kelnozz keeps offering him this and that and suggests he can do things and help, but nothing seems to be getting through to this guard. Another night passes, and in the morning you're brought more food and water. But this day, something changes, and about a few hours past daybreak, Janelle walks in with another fair hand, walks through past the guard, and enters Kelnozz's cell. You hear the sound of a spell being cast, and then suddenly you hear nothing. Several moments later, Janelle and the other fair hand leave the cell. They walk over to Theren's cell and enter. Theren, as you see these two walk in, the fair hand who is walking with Janelle begins casting a spell. And copper light glows in her hands, and then the spell is cast, and you're not entirely sure at first what has happened. And Janelle says, "We are speaking privately now. None of the rest of your cohorts will hear your answers. We have many questions for you, elf. And it has come to our attention that there is no Jangle McBoken. And while it is not unusual for a half-foot breed to be accepted into the fair hands, I assure you that there are no elven fair hands in my city. Now tell me, why are you posing as a fair hand?"
I am posing as a fair hand only to avoid the unjust judgments such as yourself. For the truth is, I still uphold justice in this world.
Before I forget, make a wisdom saving throw.
Alrighty.
Okay. So this happened. I was supposed to make you roll this when you cast the spell, but it doesn't make a difference based on what you said. You failed the saving throw. As you go to answer that question, you feel a intense magical compulsion not to lie. But I don't think what you said was a lie, so it's fine. She says, "While we do value those who share our passion for justice, it is not permissible to pose as a member, as a priest of the Great Binding. Least of all, a Fairhands, the keeper of the laws and the justice. Now, I want you to tell me, what is your association with the fallen leaves?
The Fallen Leaves? I've never heard of that. Best of my knowledge.
She narrows her eyes. You have no association with the Follows Cairn?
Say again?
Listen dearly, elf. Do you have any connections or associations with the Follows Cairn?
I've never heard of him.
You know that word is Elvish for fallen leaves.
For what?
The fallen leaves.
Oh, okay.
Where were you?
Absolutely not.
Where were you 2 weeks ago on the third day?
2 weeks ago, huh? Well, I believe I was in Salt Marsh. I was working to procure some magic items for use in my work with Salt Marsh.
You should know that we have dispatched a messenger to Saltmarsh, and we will be speaking to Eleander Fireborn to see if you are truly here under his instruction. Eleander is an honorable man, but I don't see how even he would work with the elves and the Halgud, both former enemies of the Council of the Rog.
We have performed many useful tasks for him, and he dispatched us on a quest to rescue a friend of his. He signed a letter saying as such. I'm sure our captain had it on his person.
A letter of recommendation, you say?
Indeed.
Now tell me, what do you know of displacer beasts and other monstrosities of the Feywild?
I've heard of them from legend. Only. Very dangerous, as I've been told. Are there such creatures around these parts?
I shall ask the questions here, prisoner. You have satisfied most of my questions. I have but two remaining to you. Are you loyal to the Council of the Rog?
I follow their commands.
And do you denounce the elves and condemn them for the siege of Aberdawn?
I do not condemn all elves. Only those involved in that crime, for most elves would never participate in that thing. As you humans sometimes forget.
She seems disappointed by your answer. And the two leave, locking their door behind you. They move over to Zora and Ticklewood's cell. And again, you can all hear the incantation and the flash of copper light, but then hear nothing. And after several minutes, the door opens, and Zora and Ticklewood walks out. And he says, I'll wait for you all at the boat. If you don't come in a week, I'll find some help from Jelen. And he scampers out. The two move on and go into Eikooc room. Again, there's a flash of copper light as he casts the spell. Eikooc, make a wisdom saving throw. Okay, you two are compelled to speak the truth now. The judge now looks to you and says, "What is a Halgud doing with a group of elves?"
I travel with them, seeing adventure and magic.
Adventure and magic. A likely story. There's nothing more specific that you are working towards? A common goal, perhaps?
No, we all are adventure seekers. I'm looking for magical items and knowledge
For what purpose?
to show up some people back home. Show them I am the best. Halgud, wizard.
Bringing magical artifacts into Helm. I see. And tell me, what of this quest to bring arms and weapons back to the Helm involves working with a dark elf?
He has been my traveling companion. He's a little rough around the edges, but honorable in his own way.
I doubt that very much. And tell me, how did you come into possession of such a ship?
It was granted to us by the Council of Saltmarsh. We have earned their favor through many great deeds on their behalf. They will be very unpleased to hear with your treatment of us.
Just one minor nitpick, you can't say us, because it wasn't given to you all. But as you try to say us, it comes out and to me.
Okay, me.
What is your association with the fallen leaves?
I have never heard of that.
No known connections to follows Cairn?
I don't know what that is.
Do you have... We have searched your spellbook. We know that you cannot cast... You do not know the spell Fireball.
I
Seems
do
that
not.
you are unable to awaken plants and trees. Tell us of your experience with the Feywild and the monstrosities that live within it.
I have not experienced the Feywild, only what I've read.
And where were you 2 weeks ago on the third day?
Probably in Saltmarsh, perhaps adventuring near Saltmarsh. I don't have perfect recollection of that long ago.
Why did you order your crew to attack us and disobey direct order to submit?
How would you react if someone invaded your home and tried to put shackles on you unjustly? And I say unjustly very sharply.
You're mistaken, Halgud. You came to our home. You were on your boat in our home. You're under our jurisdiction. Would I to come to another city, I would submit to the authority of that city.
And immediately be shackled and put in prison for 3 days? I think not.
Your time here is due to the violence you inflicted on us. Had you come with us peacefully, perhaps you would already be with your druid friend. As it was, you've given us no reason to show you any mercy. And though it seems you do not have any information on the fallen leaves, your behavior was quite convincing that you are a danger to Seaton.
Perhaps you should not be so quick to judge and quick to draw your swords on those you do not know.
You were given the opportunity for a fair judgment, and our swords were drawn only after you resisted. You're in the wrong here, Halgud, and though it does seem you are innocent of the crimes that we were worried about, you have committed other crimes by attacking the Fairhands. I have 2 final questions for you. Are you loyal to the Council of the Rogue?
I do not know what that is.
You do know what it is. It is the overarching ruling. It is the ruler of the land. The Council Lands is where you guys are in. The Council of the Rogue is the governing body, essentially.
Okay. That indeed I am.
And do you renounce the elves and condemn them for the siege of Abaddon?
I denounce those in the wrong, but I do not denounce an entire race of people.
Wordlessly, she leaves your cell and locks it behind you. And moves over to Brynn's cell. As they walk in, they say, "Against the wall, elf!" Do you comply?
I walk over and put my head against the wall.
Cavity search.
What is the meaning of this mistreatment? It's most unsuitable. Did you not see our letter of recommendation?
Let's take a quick aside here, out of character. Do you guys actually have a letter of recommendation?
We specifically went to Iliander before we
got
left.
one from Iliander Fireborn. It was Theren's idea.
Okay. All right. That's a good idea. Sorry, I forgot. She says, "We saw your letter. We are currently assessing it for potential forgeries, which would not be unusual for your kind."
Forgeries. We come here as friends and get treated as infidels. But you're in the place of power here.
As
so I
you
guess I have to sit here.
As you spit, the other fair hand tries to throw a punch at you, but you manage to duck out of the way. And he said, Janelle says, "Control your wild urges, elf. We are not in the forest for you to spit and lay your excrements everywhere you see."
There's no toilet in here. I have nowhere else to lay my excrement. It's just a bed in the corner. Most unsuitable.
The cleric, the fair hand that tried to punch you, begins casting a spell. And copper lightning starts dancing around his fingers. Do you react at all?
What are these sparks from your fingers? More magic on a disarmed elf.
Make a wisdom saving throw.
Tired of this. Wisdom?
You feel this compulsion come over you, and you feel the compulsion is trying to manipulate you and trying to make sure that you cannot lie. But after a moment, you manage to shake this off, and the fair hand looks at Janelle and shakes his head. And Janelle says, "We have quite a troublemaker on our hands. Tell me, elf, how long have you been working with the Fallen Leaves?"
The Fallen. We've never been working with the Fallen. We're here on official business from the hands of Eleander Fireborn himself. He'll be quite displeased with our treatment during this trip. In fact, I'm going to leave a really scathing Yelp review on these inhospitable conditions.
I am not so sure that Eleander Fireborn truly knew what serpent he had crawling through his home. And perhaps, if this letter is even real, it would not have been written if he knew the crimes that you and your people have committed. Now ask again. Do you have any known connections to the Follows Gate Cairn?
I have no connections to the Follows Gate clan. None whatsoever. Does that answer your question?
Janelle looks to the fair hand and says, "You'd be wise to control your tongue, elf."
Or what? You're going to take away my non-existent bathroom?
All right. Okay, take 8 bludgeoning damage as the fair hand slugs you across the face.
Oh, a fine old beating, I guess it is.
And Janelle says, "That's your last warning. The elves here do not have the privilege of speaking freely when in chains. And no one would question a tongueless elf on the streets of Seaton."
I've never even been on the streets of Seaton. We've only just arrived, but perhaps you should go bother someone else, because you're making no progress here.
Janelle speaks a few words, and the fair hand leaves. Yeah. And she says, "Thank you for your cooperation, elf. We can tell you're no round ear." She leaves. Make an insight check. Round ear is a slur that is used against elves that are essentially elves who have given up their identity as elves and have essentially taken a more human life and renounced the elves. It's usually a slur that elves call other elves. And the idea is they act like they're humans with round ears.
Wow. You can tell right away my ears are pointy. Barbed even.
A few more hours go by. Night comes. She now returns. She enters Eikooc cell again. This time she casts a spell. A copper flash. This time you do not need to make a wisdom saving throw. She says, "You're speaking in private, Halgud. Your codes will not be able to hear us.
Very well.
You have great trouble on your hands. We received word from Saltmarsh. Eleander has confirmed this letter of recommendation. This would usually be enough grounds to clear you and to let you go. However, there is 2 matters that concern me. The first, your crimes against the Fairhands at the docks. These are minor crimes, since you did not manage to fell any of our Fairhands and only managed to cause superficial wounds. A debt could be paid off to Seaton, whether by gold or by deed. However, your elven compatriot was most uncooperative.
Which elven compatriot do you speak of?
She nods and says, "The wood elf with a tongue. He's made it clear to us that he has no loyalty to the Council of the Rog." Where did you meet this elf?
I met him in a tavern.
Where?
He's very good question. Just outside of Saltmarsh, I believe.
Do you know where he hails from?
I believe it's from the Frosted Tips.
Frosted Tips.
He speaks of it frequently.
If you tell me true, where in the Frosted Tips, I will forgive your crimes for you and of your compatriots, though not of the elf.
I don't believe I know the specific place in the Frosted Tips that he is from. I'm sure if you asked him, he'd be proud to tell you all about his hometown. He can't stop talking about it.
He and I will be speaking soon, though not tonight. And she walks out of the room, moves over to Theren's cell, casts the spell. Half-breed, you have been... We are willing to forgive the crimes that your captain and your crew have committed. I offer you one chance, though, that will forgive the debt that your crime has cost you. Have you any knowledge of where in the Frosted Tips your elven compatriot hails from? And just a reminder, out of character, you have not been compelled to tell the truth at this point.
Okay, but out of character, do I actually know this, or do I...
You certainly do, yes.
I do know? Okay, let me see. Ryan, can you give my old memory a boost here?
About the Frosted Tips?
Well, he's looking for more specific information about where you come from, Frosted Tips.
More specific than the Frosted Tip.
Oh, you're in Silverstand, is that it?
Yeah, I think it's Silverstead.
No, it's Silverstand.
Okay. I tell her. Why, of course. He hails from Silverstand. Oh, damn it. Silverstand.
Silverstand. You have done a great service to the council. I forgive your debt to society for your crew. I will tell the Halgud, rather. Thank you, half-breed.
I'm afraid we just doomed that town.
And she comes over to and just pokes her head into past the bars and says, Theren has given the information, or the half-breed has given the information. Your debt is paid. She opens her door, walks over and opens Theren's door, opens Kelnozz's door, and you are taken to this small room over here that has your stuff.
Is Brynn still locked up?
Brynn is still locked up.
See you, Brynn.
Chanel is now at the desk here, writing on some scrolls the paperwork to let you go. Through hushed tones, you can hear the word Silverstand and frosted tips.
I can?
You can make a perception
Yeah.
check if you'd like to, yep. Because you're a bit further away. You do hear it. You hear distinctly the word Silverstand by a non-human voice. By a non-elven voice.
No.
Okay. What do you guys do? You got your stuff back?
Where's Brynn? He should be coming with us.
Should he? He was quite hostile in his interrogation.
More hostile than Kelnozz? I don't believe that.
Kelnozz was the drow, you say? The drow had many things to say, but insolence is unforgivable where ignorance can be forgiven.
I hope Kevin hears that one.
You are free to go, but the elf
And what
here will be staying
for how long?
indefinitely. We have further, more practical, however, less tasteful interrogation methods for him.
I don't like the sound of this.
Look, we are only passing through your fine city. Our business is in the countryside. Let us take him with us, and he'll be out of your hair for good.
We have strong reason to believe that this elf is a spy sent by the Follows Cairn, perhaps to gain the trust of the Salt Marsh Council, just as you have. Seaton has been under siege, attacked by the Follows Cairn numerous times throughout the last few weeks. The town is uneasy at the sight of elves, and since we have reason to believe that he is one of them, we intend to hold him accountable for these attacks.
Why are they attacking your city?
do elves need a reason to attack humans? They've been plotting our demise since we were created by the gods. Of course, what would... Look who I'm talking to. You've accepted the gift of Arcanus, not knowing that it will surely taint your soul.
These fallen leaves you speak of, is there a suspected location they operate out of?
We believe they have many hideouts, but they keep to either the drowned forest or the shivering forest. We've managed to explore much of the drowned forest, but the shivering wood is a much darker and much more dangerous place. We dare not go too deep.
And what of Burl? Are they under siege as well?
Burl is much more suited, as they are constantly patrolling the shivering wood. I do believe they have had some attacks as well, but my concern here is Seaton. Seaton will not be the next Abaddon, while I and Merrick are in charge of law and order. You may go now. I advise you to keep the drow on a short leash. As I said, elves are not treated kindly here in Seaton. Least of all, the elves that have skin as pitch as black night.
Come, Eikooc. Perhaps we can talk some sense into the officials to have Brynn released or clear his name in some way.
Is there any way to meet with Merrick?
For what purpose?
Well, we wish to discuss Brynn, the status of Brynn, and
If you have something to say, you may say it.
well, you have not judged him justly, and he has traveled with us for a very long time. He is not a member of any sort of underground elven resistance movement. He is simply an adventurer, former bounty hunter. He has no
Brynn, as you
nefarious...
call him, was given the chance to speak for himself. Instead, he chose to spit at us, refused to listen to our questions. I see no reason to think that he has his good intentions. Nor do I take kindly to the characterizing of the fallen leaves as a resistance group. They are nothing but criminals who cause terror and death wherever they roam. You'd be wise to watch your language.
All right. Well, we'll be leaving.
Okay.
What's our destination? Are we going to head back to the ship
Ship's all we got. So let's maybe regroup at the ship.
Yeah.
Okay. Brynn, do you do anything as you hear your friends start to leave.
Can they hear me or anything? Like, it seems like a pretty long, dark hallway.
Were you to shout, they would maybe hear you, probably hear you.
Don't leave without me!
Okay. Assuming you leave without them.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
we have little choice.
Yeah.
Okay. Brynn, the rest of your night is unremarkable.
What an unremarkable night.
Okay, you guys get back to the ship. You find Zoran Tooklewood. There, he's sleeping in his hammock. What do you do?
Well, first I check with Hefter to see if we've been able to find a way to get the supplies that we need for the ship. I have
No one said anything to me about supplies. Oh, I've just been minding my own business here on the ship.
Oh, my mistake. I must have been talking to Salty Eye Jockwaters about the matter of supplies. He was saying we were coming short, excuse me. Salty Eye, have you been able to find the supplies we need?
I would manage to find a week's worth of supplies of food and water.
Excellent.
Where is Master Brynn?
Detained. We're unable to convince the Fairhands to release him.
That's too bad. He owes me 100 gold.
Set sail. No. All right. Well, I guess what does the city look like from our perspective, from the docks? Like,
From the docks, you can see that it is a large city. You can't see too much further than the buildings that are around you, but the buildings around you, they look pretty similar to Saltmarsh in the sense that most of the buildings are wood with thatch roofs. There are occasional more important, more wealthier buildings that are made out of stone. The very wealthy ones have bronze roofs on them. But in the dock district, that's very few and far between, and mostly wooden buildings.
and the trip back from where we were locked up to here, was that very far? Like, do we get to walk through much of the city?
No, this was the guardhouse that you guys were in was within the dock district.
Yeah, okay.
The only thing that you did see on the way was a tavern that had a sign that said the Pewter Plate. And just a reminder, the Janelle heavily implied to you that Brynn was going to be tortured and perhaps killed if left in the cell.
Great.
I'm sure it'll be fine.
There has to be a wait.
I think we should try and get in contact with Merrick. Frederick? Merrick Frederick. Yarlan Harker. We should get in contact with Yarlan Harker, the wharf master. Maybe he's more amenable to our cause. We seem to have run into this what do they call them? Oh. This person who's on a mission.
A little zealous, isn't she?
Yeah, she's a zealot.
She's being shrill and nasty. So, sexist joke for you there.
Maybe we can talk to somebody who's a little bit more reasonable. These justice worshippers are quick to judge and not very good at listening.
Yes, they do follow justice, but they lack Moraganor's wisdom. Well, perhaps we could inquire at the tavern where we might find... Well, actually, I guess the dockmaster should be easily to find around here, but maybe someone in the tavern will know where he can be found.
So that woman's name was Chanel?
Jenau.
Chanel. Okay. And we were told that Merrick Frederick runs Seaton.
Merrick Feldrin, yeah.
Feldrin. So we have two names of people we could find. Merrick Feldrin runs Seaton, and Yarlin Harker, who's the wharf master. Perhaps they can help us release our friend.
Yes, just let me know when you want to do something.
Do you think we should seek them out?
Who are you asking?
Anybody? Scott?
Yeah. We
You're
need...
the only other one on the boat with me, Scott.
Oh, is that right?
Myself.
Okay, well, I don't think it's advisable to try and break him out. We're in enough trouble as it is. Kelnozz and I can disguise ourselves as human to try to avoid getting this kind of reaction from everyone. I'll use my magic hat. Kelnozz, why don't you put on one of your disguises?
Oh, you guys are back! That's great. Zoran steps out.
Why did they let you go so quickly?
Yes, what did you tell them, Zoran?
Oh, they had lots of questions about some yard waste or something. The fallen leaves, I think they called it. Well, everyone knows the fallen leaves aren't going to work with a human.
Huh. Well, then they should know that we are not associated with the Fallen Leaves then, since you have been working with us.
Well, I can understand why they'd be more suspicious of elves and Halgud. Speaking of which, where's that elf?
He is still locked away. We're unable to convince the official to allow his release. He's a suspected spy of the Fallen Leaves. Of course, it's completely inaccurate.
Does seem kind of spy-like now that you mention it. Are you sure? Maybe he's a double-crosser.
I've known Brynn long enough. He's hardly the type to be associated with one of those.
Yeah, I don't think he's cut out for it anyway. Oh, he's stuck in jail, eh? Well, why don't you just pay his bounty?
They
Pay
didn't
his
put a
bounty.
price.
Well,
They said,
we didn't ask about that, but
You really didn't try much before you walked away. Oh, he's locked up? Yeah, okay, well, we're just gonna go over here.
Can I talk to your manager? No? Alright, I'm leaving.
Alright, well, we tried. Give it the old college try.
I did.
They were like holding you on principle though. Like it's like
Yeah.
it's not like they were holding you on some charge or something. It's like no, we're holding them on principle.
They
It's
think
not
you're a
usually-
spy.
Alright, well, I'll remember that when you're arrested on principle. Oh, hey, can I speak to the jailer? No?
Yeah, it's
Well,
not usually a fine situation.
Can I leave a post-it that lets Kevin know at least I asked for the jailer?
No, it's like we're holding a spy and we intend to interrogate him. Oh, but you paid the $100 fine? Oh, he's yours then.
You're right. Does seem a bit silly now that you mention it. Well, maybe we could break him out. We'd have to leave town pretty quick, I would think. Might have to say goodbye to your druid friend.
That would be a last resort. Maybe perhaps we can seek out the leader of the city or someone else with some power in this place and convince them of our need and our good intention.
Yes. If there are the fallen leaves operating in the not shivering wood, but the drowned forest, maybe we'll come across some of them and offer to deal with them to prove that Brynn is not in league with them.
Sounds like quite the feat there. If I was one of these elven terrorists, then it'd be tough to get me into anywhere near this place. I say we break him out.
You have some experience with the security of this of that jail cell. You had a good look at it.
We're not only going to be in trouble in this city, but we would then be in trouble in Saltmarsh, I'm sure, if we started breaking people out of jail. This wouldn't be very good for our reputation. All right. Let's make our way to the tavern and see if we can find anybody worth talking to, or if they know where the people that we need to talk to would be.
Okay. Where are you guys heading?
Heading to the Pewter Place Tavern.
The Pewter Plate.
Tavern. I wrote plate. I didn't read plate though.
It's okay. Alright. You guys get to the Pewter Plate, and it is very busy. Definitely a seedier place. It's not very clean. All the people there are sailors and hired arms, most of which are themselves dirty and throwing back steins of ale, laughing loudly. People are throwing knives and playing other games, arm wrestling.
So Kelnozz did put on his disguise.
Yes, he did.
Well,
yeah, so he looks very much like a dusky skinned human from the North Province.
Okay, I'm also wearing my hat of looking more human-like.
How are you disguising yourself, Scott?
I look kind of similar, but my more elvish features have been muted so I look more human.
Something that I should mention, I forgot to say earlier, is that when you regained your items, the fair hand robes that you were wearing were not included.
The fair hand robes? Oh, okay. Yeah.
And neither is your holy symbol.
Ooh, even my
That's illegal.
Ragnor one. Ah! How dare they? Well.
So you just need to clarify if you're not disguising yourself as a fair hand anymore.
No.
Although you could with your hat. It's up to you.
No. I'll just disguise myself. I look kind of like a traveler. Just a human traveler who may have from Saltmarsh.
Okay. So we'll say you just kind of dampen your elven features and make yourself look more like if Theren was a human.
Right.
Okay, you guys are in the pewter plate. There's a gruff bartender that is slinging ale, and doesn't look like a lot of people are eating here. But as you approach the bar, the man says, "Food or drink?"
Drink.
You die of dysentery. Scott knows those struggles. Having previously died of dysentery.
He hands you
There's
some
4 of
ale.
us there? Yeah.
Yep, 4 of you there. Sorry, what do you mean by nobody else?
No, it's 4 ales.
Oh yes, 4 ales. Yep. 4 ales are poured in these heavy clay mugs. He asks you for a single gold back for all 4.
Right. Give him a gold.
I say, we're travelers from Saltmarsh. What can you tell us about the town of Seaton and the notable people and places that are here?
He gives you a once over. It ain't Saltmarsh. What else you want to know?
Well, do you know where we could find the dockmaster?
Harker!
Caroline Harker.
Yeah.
He's over there. Points over to a human who is a bit more clean than the rest of the guys, but you can still tell he's spends a lot of his time on the docks. And he's at a table that's enjoying some raucous drinking, but they're just talking. There's no games being played.
After you, Theren.
All right. I walk over to his table and I say, "Hail there, are you Harker?"
He looks as, who's asking?
My name is Theren. This is Eikooc, captain of the Sea Ghost. We just recently arrived. I hope you've already
Oh yes, the
met
sea
Salty Eye
ghost.
Jockwater.
Salty Eye Jockwater? Yes, he came looking for advice on supplies. Let's see. Half-elf? I don't know. Hard to say, but he turns to you, Eikooc, and says, "You must be Eikooc, Gniddup."
I am captain of the... I've been meaning to rename that ship.
This is, Wouldn't mistake you for anyone else in this building. I think you might be the only Halgud in all of Seaton.
Sorry, you cut out there.
Oh, he
Might be
says,
the only.
you might be the only Halgud in all of Seaton.
I get that a lot. We were. We've got a problem, and we were wondering if you could help us out.
Well, I saw that, I have to apologize that I had to report your ship to Janelle. We're under strict orders. Any ships carrying elves need to be interrogated by the Fairhands.
They seem overly cautious, and which is really why we come to inquire. They're holding a friend of ours in prison. He's apparently given them answers that they didn't like. However, we know he's innocent.
He didn't mouth off to Janelle, did he?
Oh, he has a mouth on him.
Oh, you do not want to get on Janelle's bad side.
No, she seems quite determined and single-minded in her quest.
Well, don't be too harsh on her. We've had a troubling time here in Seaton recently, and, well, I'd be lying if I said that the elves weren't the cause of it. You know the type.
I kind of let that go by. Is there anyone we can talk to? Perhaps you have connections to help give a good word for our friend and get them out of the jail.
He scratches his chin and says, do you mean a good word? And winks very hard. Or a good word?
I'm open to options.
Well, Janelle is lieutenant commander of Fairhands. It's second only to Feldrick. To be honest, Feldrick is not much more open-minded than Janelle is. They're under strict orders to keep Seaton secure. The council has great plans for Seaton.
So, are there other ways that we can accomplish what we need?
Well, it depends on why she's keeping him there. If she thinks he's one of these murdering elves, it'll be a tough way to talk your way out of that. I'm not sure what else can be done above board. You look like strong folk. Maybe you can cast a spell or pick the lock or something.
I pull out my coin purse, show its heft. Is there any way to convince someone?
He picks it up and kind of weighs it and says, "Well, how much gold is in this purse that you put down?"
I'm holding it. I didn't give it to him.
Oh, okay.
But just you can see the heft of the purse. So I don't know. I have 991 gold, on me, I guess.
He robs you. No, he goes, well, now you see I am the official wharf master to keep my hands clean. I'm not going to take your gold yet, but I'll see what I can. I'll put some words out, and perhaps I will come up with something, but it will take time.
Well, I appreciate your your effort. I give him. I just put 5 gold in front of him and say, "Buy yourself a few drinks for your help."
He says, "Ah, you Halgud, you're not so bad at all." While this conversation is happening, what is Theren doing?
I'm just standing here listening as this is going on. I might actually after that kind of case the joint and try and see if anyone's willing to share with us any knowledge of the town and surrounding area, or
Sure.
important people and so on.
Make a make a persuasion check. We're just looking for a general charisma, but if you have proficiency in persuasion, add the proficiency bonus.
Okay.
There you go. So, what is there anything specific you'd like to know? I'll give you some general information, but if you want specific, just say so, and I'll make sure that's maybe included.
Okay. Start with the general, and then we'll.
Okay. So
see what goes on.
When you talk around the tavern, people here, they don't really give you as much hassle about being a half elf. Everyone here is kind of a rougher crowd as well. You managed to learn that Seaton has undergone huge growth in the last decade. About a decade ago, it would have been not too much bigger than Saltmarsh, but the Council of the Rock took great interest in Seaton based on its easily fortifiable position on the Taden Bay, and so ordered Feldrick to essentially assume control of the town from the town council, as most towns are governed in the Taden Bay region. And since then, he's been essentially the lord. And since he's the commander of the Fairhands, he's incorporated the Fairhands into the town guard. When he says Fairhands, generally the people in the tavern call them coppers, which is kind of like something you wouldn't want to say in front of them. So yeah, they say in the last 10 years the city has been heavily fortified, and within the last few weeks there have been semi-regular attacks on the city. There were around 2 weeks ago, there were a series of fireballs that were let off in the town. A couple weeks before that, there were displacer beasts that were let loose throughout the town, causing havoc and carnage through the market. And just about a month or so ago, they were subject to attack from these elves who had awakened trees in the town, and the trees then went on to destroy buildings and harm the citizens. And that's the rough general information you get.
Okay. Do I find if there's anyone who resists the control of the Fairhands in the city? Like humans rather than elves or anything?
Could you say that again, sorry? That don't like it.
Yeah, is there anyone who kind of like resists or doesn't like the rule that they've been forced upon them?
Most of the people that you ask that question to they have bad opinions about the Fairhands, but from your judgment, it's because that they are criminals, and that they just don't like that the Fairhands are stopping them from making their profits. But as you are casing this tavern, just as you finish speaking with one person who tells you a bit more about the Fallen Leaves attacks, you see in the corner a person with sitting in the corner with his cloak drawn up over his face, and yet you can still see his two eyes staring directly at you, and the eyes in the candlelight you can see have flecks of gold in them. You suspect this is an elf.
Oh. I walk over to him and offer him a drink.
He nods, raises a toast to you, takes a single sip, puts it down and slides it away. He speaks in Elvish to you, says, "You are kind, but I cannot stand the swill of this place."
Then what brings you here?
I'm keeping my ears to the ground. And as he says that, he very deftly and quickly just runs his finger through his cloak, and you can see a long pointed ear. And he says, "I've had my eye on you and our black-skinned cousin. What brings you to Seaton?"
Well, we're here on official business from Saltmarsh. There's a kidnapped druid by the name of, well, let me just recall his name. Hatch. And
Okay.
he's been kidnapped somewhere in the the drowned forest. We came here to look for him, but unfortunately, my companion has been thrown into the Fairhands jail. Unjustly, they think he is in league with the Fallen Leaves. I say softly, and then I say, we need to get him out before...
Make an insight check.
Okay.
You notice the slightest change in his demeanor as you say the Fallen Leaves. Go on.
They think he's a spy, but unfortunately, we were unable to convince them otherwise. We really are just here to search for Hatch. And,
The humans know nothing of justice.
Hmm.
They have
Yes.
Why would
Sorry,
they
what?
think your friend is a spy for the Fallen Leaves?
I think they're just paranoid. Plus, he may have spoken out of line to their commander, Janelle. Is there no one who can overrule her judgment on this matter?
I overrule her judgment. All who oppose tyranny against the elven people oppose her judgment. Tell me, is this friend of yours, is he one of us?
Yes, he is. It's very easy for her to cast judgment, you see.
Yes. Well, the humans have always not worried too much about casting a wide net on their judgment. And you seek to free your friend from this tyranny.
Yes, I fear he won't survive long in the hands of the Fairhands? Yeah. They seek to torture him and perhaps make an example of him for all of these terrified peasants. We have to get him out of there.
Yes, that sounds very unpleasant for one of us. But perhaps we may make of an example of him yet. Just in a way that poor Janelle does not intend. He seems to contain his laughter here. What would you say if I could get your friend out?
We would be in your debt. Well, what did you say your name was?
My name is Ilyas Starweaver.
I see.
In our debt, you say? A favor for favor. I like the sound of that.
You said our. Who do you represent exactly?
Why? The elves. All elves. The elves that don't bow to the tyranny of humans.
I see. And how would you be able to convince Janelle to let him go? Being an elf yourself, seems to me she would be hardly receptive.
Oh, Theren. I won't be... Who said anything of convincing her? There is no convincing a human. Least of all a human with power. Now understand this. If we are able to help you, then you will truly be in our debt. And there will be blood shed in the freeing of your friend.
We didn't come here to cause bloodshed. This is unacceptable.
I wonder if your friend would be so hesitant to give up his life as you are.
Well, I don't think
Blood
you have
is
in
shed
mind-
whether you like it or not, Theren. These humans will not think twice before shedding his blood if they think that he will have even a single piece of information about the Follows Cairn. If I were him, I would be very worried. The Fairhands, they like to meet, excuse me, they like when they meet new elves. They're trying to track us down one by one. I hope for his sake he's one of the street urchin who grew up in a human world and doesn't know anything of elven towns. If he reveals even the name or the location of an elven town, well, council armies will be there within a fortnight.
Go. I see. Well, then it's imperative that we get him out, but I will not resort to violence against the people of this city. There must be a quieter, more less violent way it can be done.
If you wish to have your friend released without bloodshed, without drawing any more undue attention than a missing prisoner would seek, it will only increase the debts that you will hold to us. It can be done. It's just a bit more difficult and much less rewarding for us. What do you say?
Let me consult with the others and see if they are amicable to this plan. What are the details of this plan that you have in mind?
Well, a plan is formulating, but I haven't set any details yet. If you want him to be out without causing unnecessary violence, then I'll think of a way, and I'll bring him to a farm just outside of Seaton. Perhaps we can do. I will have him there by tomorrow. Say just before evening.
All right. And what is it that you would want in return? What manner of task or compensation?
The opportunity will present itself, and when it does, we will present ourselves. But you will swear here that whatever we ask, you will do.
Would what you ask break any laws of justice, even against the humans?
Well, Moraganor smiles on us. Though, well, we are breaking a man out of jail. There's no way that we will be able to act without breaking the laws of the humans. But what human laws have any hold over elves?
Well, as long as we live among them, we must abide by some of their laws. Only these unjust humans must be circumvented in this matter. So I will not raise violence against the humans of this land or anything like that. But
you ask us to do violence by breaking him out. You ask us to risk things and risk ourselves.
Only if it can be done silently.
Yes.
Am I willing to do it?
This is still a form of violence, and be honest, you are here, you are adventurers, you've shed many blood on the ground. I do not understand why you are hesitant to pledge to do something that you don't even know what it is yet, but obviously we are friends and we are both looking just for true justice here. I will not do your ask if you will not swear to return the favor.
I will return the favor if I find it to be just. I am not a stranger to danger or to I will boldly fight your battles, but it cannot be.
I will ask you nothing that Moraganor himself would not bless.
Ah, very good. I cannot betray my oath.
He takes out of the folds of his cloak a fine elven dagger, highly illegal, and slits his palm on his left hand. And he holds it out to you. And with his right hand passes you the knife.
Oh. I guess we're supposed to shake on this in a very unnecessarily messy way. Alright. I'll have to ask Brynn if this is how they do it on the frosted tips. And I do much the same, and then I guess I don't know, do we have to shake hands afterwards?
Yes.
Okay.
He grasps your hand. It says, frosted tips, you say. Interesting. Welcome to our brotherhood.
All right. Well, will I see you at this farmhouse in a day's time?
Yes. Seek the Nalson farm. It's just south of Seaton. Not far from where the marsh begins. We'll have Brynn for you. Intact and healthy. Keep the knife, by the way. A joining gift. He stands up, and before he even reaches the door, you seem to lose him in the crowd. Around this time, Eikooc is finishing his conversation with Yarlan. You see Zoran is in the middle of a knife throwing competition. He seems like he's had a little bit to drink already.
I seek out Eikooc from among the crowd.
Hmm. Well, I may have secured us a way to buy Brynn's way out of jail. Still there? You there?
Unmute yourself, Scott. Scott has temporarily died. Zoran walks over and says, "You'll never believe how much gold I just won." I bet alright now I could hit an apple off the top of your head. You with me knife. Would you like me to give it a try?
How much do you bet?
I bet, how about, shiny platinum piece.
Internet is struggling, Scott says. Platinum. It's a lot of money.
What do you say? Takes out a really big knife.
I will pass.
I
As
didn't.
irritating as that would be.
I never knew a Halgud to have such a yellow complexion.
I'm just afraid you couldn't see the apple on the top of my head from where you're standing.
Wow. I don't know if you've seen, but Grelton has some very small apples, if you know what I'm talking about. And Theren begins telling you about his conversation with the elf he met named Ilias.
Okay. I guess making sure that we're enough in private that we can, obviously he's telling me about this.
He just told you about the same thing he's saying. I may have also secured his...
Okay. Not in any detail.
You can ask him for detail.
I would ask him for detail, yeah, but in private, as private as we can get. I guess as private as they were talking. He's truly well and truly offline now.
Yeah. So he tells you basically all the details that you heard while we were talking, basically.
Hello?
Aha!
Ah,
Welcome back. Okay, Scott, I just kind of very broadly roleplayed for you, saying that you gave Eikooc the details of your conversation with Ilias.
okay.
And that's literally it, so.
Yeah. So you walked back over, and I was like, I think I've secured a means to get Brynn out of jail, using money. And then you were like, I think I did it too.
Great.
And then you just gave me the details. So after that, I look at you and I'm just like, we could trade this person for Brynn.
Ooh. You're right. That might be a way to, like, really
What
cause some
person for
shenanigans.
Brynn? Zoran stumbles over. What person? What about Brynn? Where is he? Silly elf.
He's locked up.
Alright. Well, we've all been there before.
But I fear that if we tried to convince them that, this guy was breaking Brynn out of jail, that would condemn Brynn. Would it not? As being one of them?
Only because we've asked him to break them out of a jail.
Yes, which also implies that we are spies.
Oh, that's conniving,
That doesn't work.
Eikooc. It's downright shady of you.
Also doesn't. It's maybe not the best, given that you've entered into some sort of blood oath.
Yeah, it's true. Well, I'm sure this is just the standard way that elves make an agreement on the Silver Peaks, Silver Tip Mountains. Just a good old-fashioned agreement between honorable followers of Maraganor, of course.
Or did you just make a deal with terrorists?
They said he fights for all elven kind.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sounds like terrorists speak to me.
Well, anyhow, I made it very clear that I would not rise up against the innocent. So, he has to abide by our agreement, of course.
You would not rise up against the innocent, of course. Did you ask him to do the same?
Yes, I made sure that no blood would be shed in the release of Brynn.
And what did you promise for that?
Only that we aid him in return.
That could be very dangerous for us. If person's name, Janal, ever got wind that we were working with Fallen Leaves, we would be in great danger.
Oh, well. I suppose that's true.
Oh, I'm sorry to interrupt, but can we go back to this ship now? I'm getting really tired. I don't feel very well.
Yes, let's go back to the ship.
Indeed.
Halfway home, Zoran passes out.
Tempted just to leave him there. Drag him along
Okay,
by his feet.
you guys managed to get back to the Sea Ghost, and with much on your minds of the coming day, you managed to find rest. And we will close it off for there tonight.
Oh my god.